Live. Well, hello everyone.
Hello.
You know what? I hope we just popped over from the Game Face stream, so we're just double checking, making sure everything is streaming and good. Because that is, we're sitting here. I had a ton of trouble today getting things set up, so I have nothing but sympathy for when you're trying to get streaming is. It's
a fickle beast.
It's amazing how easy it is for all of us. Like, anyone can do it, but you may have a slight breakdown while you're trying to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about that. I'm Anthony Stewart, and this
is Nerf Dog.
Yeah, we have some new technology on the stream. Oh, I forgot. There's even a little intro. It is this thing. We are high tech now. We're pretty excited. I don't want to speak for you. I'm pretty excited.
I'm very excited.
We have a special guest. This is the first time we've had a virtual guest on the show. We have Brad from American Foam on here. I'm going to bring him right on. I don't need to do his introductions. He's a grown man.
Right.
He can introduce himself. Let's bring him in. Hello. Can you hear us? Oh, there's echo.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
It's going great. Give me 1 second. I'm getting a little bit of echo. We had no echo in testing, and here we are.
Nothing at all. It was crystal clear.
I'm only hearing echo if
right.
I talk. Oh.
Nope, now it's gone.
I think we're good.
Let us know if we're echoing in the chat, I guess.
This is how it goes. I'm going to check that. I'm going to go over to the chat to just check here. Chat just connected. Please wait while we reconnect you. What's happening? Can you see the chat over there, Matt?
Yeah, I can see.
All right.
No mentions of any kind of echo yet. So.
All right. Let's just stick to it. I think what we'll do, we do new technology here. We have this stream deck over here. I think what we will do is Matt's just going to monitor the chat on his phone. Usually we do it on a laptop. We got a bunch of complicated stuff going on. So let's hand it over. Let's welcome a big Maritime Foam, Friday Night Foam welcome to Brad from American Foam. How you doing?
Not bad, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Glad to be here.
Excellent. I'm glad you could make it. I was pretty excited to have you on the stream because back when I first did the dangerous thing of buying one rival knockout and going, oh, this is fun. I should Google what else there is. You were a very early Google in my Nerf Googling.
Nice.
I'm happy to have led you down the rabbit hole, so to speak. It's deep and long, and it'll really hurt your wallet, but it's fun.
That is for sure. Yeah, I have I have the battery taped to the outside of it because originally it was hidden inside the shell to be kind of a sleeper. But I have my Raven that I did from your mod guide here.
Nice.
Nice. When I show a thing, I always like to show. We'll bring up the target cam here. I always like to fire a couple shots whenever we're doing anything.
Nice.
And it is a classic. Go back here to the feed.
There you go.
There we go. So yeah, it's funny when I think a while ago I had I met a kid who did a Raven from the guide. Whenever anyone talks about that guide, I'm always like, I watched Brad's guide. It was very early days. I feel like I piggybacked very heavily off of your guide. So you are the grandfather of many modded Ravens.
Excellent. That particular one is sitting there right behind me on the wall.
Nice.
It's gotten me through quite a few Nerf wars, and you really can't even tell the thing is modded by looking at it on the outside, but holy crap, that thing is a ton of fun.
Yeah, I really, so I have a ton of respect for painting and integrations, and I love all of it. And maybe it's just because I'm not very good at it. I really like sleepers though,
yes,
too.
For sure.
I just think that's a lot of fun to have something that looks like it's going to be
garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that's a lot of fun to me. And plus, you can be lazier. You don't have to do anything to make a sleeper except
bust it open and close it back up. Yeah.
Just be discreet.
Right.
Brad, you haven't officially met Matt here. Matt is my friend who I've forced into Nerf.
Yes.
He's deep into Nerf through association.
You've drugged me in by my heels.
I really have. But he's done his own. You've done a bit of modding yourself.
Yes, to a
Awesome.
Rapid Strike?
Spectrum. That's all right. You're doing good, pal. That's okay. You did it. He did that Spectrum mod, which is obviously a great blaster. But I'd say probably your passion's more in you have a good time playing.
Yes.
More of a player than a collector.
Yes, I am the tactical one of this bunch.
You are a lot better of a player than me, and that's kind of the tough thing of like, I don't know about you, but like, would you say of all the things, like, are you more like, would you consider yourself more of a collector, modder, player? Like, what's your favorite thing to do around the whole hobby?
Oh, sorry. You're asking me there. I got a little bit of video lag on my end.
Oh.
That's okay. Well, first off, I think, Matt, good to meet you. But also, we have, I think we all have a friend that we dragged into Nerf, willingly or unwillingly. They all seem to kind of stay, so it's a pretty good hobby. But collecting, modding, I gotta say that I'm more of a tinkerer / collector. I love playing, but Ohio is not necessarily the most friendly weather, especially this time of year, of course. But waiting to get out there, I'm using the winter time to do a lot of modding, some paint jobs. I got a couple cool things. I did just wrap up this Charger here, which is one of my favorite. It's such a simple blaster, and the really light story, a real quick version of the story is that my cat actually, just barfed on this thing, and it was so nasty. I'm like, I could just throw this out. But I decided, no, we don't do that. We're gonna take this apart. We're gonna clean it. Might as well paint it. Might as well mod it, and then maybe sell it. And then I'm just like, no, I kind of like this thing. So I just did a little 3S quick rewire on that, and put a little voltmeter right here in the side. It's pretty slick. I like this thing quite a bit, and it's just nice to have a magless option, sometimes. Yeah. But it's a very long-winded way of saying I like to mod and collect a little bit.
We're not here to keep it brief. That's not that's not my specialty either. Yeah, that Charger looks really good. I really like the yellow and the weathering and stuff too. Makes it look really good. I have definitely. It's one of those things where it's like, can you do it too much? But I've really started enjoying putting I want to put voltmeters and things with light up buttons and everything.
Right.
Because it's just it's fun. I did a mod to the Big Power 501, the one that's kind of like an Ultra 2 but fires elites. And I put a push button LED in the front and a voltmeter. It just makes it adds a lot to it when you put that stuff in. It makes it look cool. So that's pretty fun. It's good too because it's more impressive to people who don't know. They don't know that it's easy. Just put that positive and negative in there, feed it in. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's not that hard. Some people ask advice about modding. I'm like, everything's a Strife, or it's a Rapid Strike,
sure,
or a variant thereof. That'll get you far anyway.
Right. If you had to ballpark it, how many do most blasters have unique internals? Or do they share a lot of stuff? Internally.
I'll hand that over to my pal at American Foam.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing. You mentioned most blasters are a Strife. A lot of people ask me, where are the mod guides? And initially I did a few, but I think if you start with Strife and a Rapid Strike mod guide, you're pretty much good to go in terms of electronic blasters, So I could make one for the Spectrum, and I did because I wanted to show Dart Zone some love for a really sweet blaster there. But it's all kind of a Strife.
Yeah.
It's the simplest circuit, which is why, when I go on r/Nerf on Reddit, which can be dicey, but when I go on there, people ask oh, can I mod without soldering? And I say it's not hard. Just go buy a cheap soldering iron and just find some scrap wire. Even you don't even need to practice on your own, nice blaster, but it's a fantastic skill to learn. I fixed so many home appliances.
Yeah.
It's not even funny. Just because of some of the skills I learned in Nerf from modding. But yeah, there's a lot of semi-auto flywheel blasters out there, and if you know one, you basically know them all. And then everything else isn't that, super complicated anyway. Just, if you just sit there and kind of think about the flow of electricity through these switches and what you want it to do, and that may sound like a lot to, someone who's just starting out, but it's a fun hobby. And once you go overboard, like you were mentioning, wanting light up buttons and all that stuff in your mods, you can really go overboard. I mean, I found myself walking down, my local hardware stores. I'm like, could I put that in a blaster? Probably.
Oh yeah. I might have a bin of things that are just for that. Like, oh, look at these hex lights from the dollar store. I could put those in somewhere. I have a bunch of like automotive switches. Like I got some 40 amp relays. So now I have a bunch of like little like low amp switches to run through and that it's funny about the mod guide thing, because like even when I did and kind of embarrassed to admit, but even when I did like the first couple mods, I don't know that I even really fully understood how a switch worked. I just I was like, okay, the
switch goes.
The nice YouTube person said that this wire should go on the common.
Right.
I don't know what that is, and this other wire should go on the normally open. Okay.
Like anything in life, if you say it with confidence, people will believe you.
Right, but like I don't know. I think if you do stuff too, like you learn, like you kind of learn through trial and error. It can be a bit more fun than just trying to go and read a bunch of like I do understand a lot of around circuits now. Like now where I kind of I want to do some. I definitely want to do some mod guides in future, but like it probably would be a long time before I would do like something like I want to do a mod guide for the Darktech Neoblast because I put in like a little buck converter to like save the LEDs and did like a couple things that there aren't I won't say there are none, but there's not tons and tons of guides on. I definitely looked up a bunch of stuff when I did the Boom Nitron. I looked up some of the classic videos on that one just to be like, what did they change? Like, did they, was it worth switching the motors and stuff? So like, yeah, I get it. Like, I think that's the thing of like, once you go for a bit, the mod guides kind of slow down because once you understand more, I don't know. There's almost like there's enough basic mod guides out there.
Right.
Like it's the kind of little the little aspects of electronics where I think are kind of lacking in a lot of mod guides. Like
the minutiae and the tiny details.
Yeah. Like if I didn't have, like, thankfully from making so many friends in the hobby, like when I was using the 40 amp relay in the big power one, I asked builder_BB on Instagram. I was like, how do I do this? Because I was reading up on it and I was like, I don't understand. And like, I don't know, you make friends eventually too. That certainly helps. But yeah, no, it's interesting. We should check what's happening in the chat. There's probably some questions.
There's still a lot of hubbub about the previous stream and the quality of that.
Oh, listen, be nice. This audio started echoing and I almost had a panic attack. And you know what? In this stream, I was so excited last night. I set it up. I had Skype. Like I had like plugins, and Skype was being pulled in OBS, and the audio was just going to be perfect. And then today I upgraded OBS by mistake, and everything stopped working. So now my laptop is pointed at my phone, and that's how you're hearing Brad. So like, I things happen. Yeah. Let's be kind in case it's us tomorrow.
Right.
Or me in a few minutes.
Right.
Matt, there's a fly on your head. I'm so sorry.
Nope.
I know it's been freakishly warm here, and it's like a colony of flies have hatched, and they're driving us crazy. All right. So to the chat.
Right. Frugal Foam wants to know if we're going to head down to the HVZ in Pennsylvania.
Just
said we should come to the HVZ in PA.
The one in June?
He didn't mention it.
There is one in June that I'm thinking of going to.
Mm-hmm. And was it the one you went previously or a different one?
I don't know much about it except that I saw a couple notes about it and I may go to that one. There's an event in Maryland I think I'm gonna try to go to that. Are you, Brad? Do you have anything that any events or anything that you've been thinking of trying to make it to, or?
Yeah, there are a few things that I don't want to, not that I'm anybody special, but I was asked for one in Pennsylvania that is coming up. That might be the same one that Garvincool is talking about. I want to make it out more because, like, I am a person that did Penn State's HVZ a few years ago. I had a ton of fun. That was completely ridiculous, a crazy time. And I love playing. I don't get out enough to do it. And, like, I haven't even been to End War, and I call myself a Nerf tuber. So this is going to be the year, the return of a lot of bigger games and just, a lot of opportunities to get out there. So I'm pretty pumped for the weather to turn and then just to, meet some of y'all, really, because I'm pretty sheltered, I think, in terms of getting out there.
I get that. I mean, for me to go to End War was like a 16-hour drive. Like, that was a big, like, I have very understanding family. I was waving. I'm not doing like a royal thing. There was like a fly. So yeah, but I don't know, like, because I've like gone so deep into it and like chatting with people, I'm like, you know what? It's worth the drive down to go. Sure. And it was so fun to actually meet people in person that you've either watched or kind of interacted with on, whether it's Discord or in the comment section or whatever. End War was really neat to have experienced. I'm gonna go to the Maryland group of Nerfers. They have an event mid-April. I'm gonna go to that. That's another. Jesus, it's gonna drive me crazy. I'm really looking forward to going to that. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely nice to get out. Like, it can be very isolating to be in your Nerf cave, surrounded by your toys,
talking to a camera all day.
Right. It's like I just played the other day with the kids and like because I found a Nerf trilogy finally, and we were just like playing with a trilogy and a sledge fire, running around the cafe space. I'm like, this is awesome. I had so much fun. I accidentally shot my daughter right in the face, though. Like, 3 darts hit her in the face. I had to let her get some revenge shots. Yeah. When I talk about a blaster, I like to fire it. So if we can go to the old target cam for a sec.
Target 2?
You want target, that target there. Yep. Just gonna fire one over to the old target tent there. The trilogy.
Very cool.
Such a good time. Bloop. So yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot, and people are very welcoming. Like, the first thing I ever went to, Grove City, it was weird to go. It's like you're going a long way and you show up, and it's like there's a lot of old friendships at Nerf stuff too. But people are pretty good. But like I don't know about you, Brad, but like I'm definitely a mix of not shy, but I can be shy if I don't know anybody. Like, in a group of friends, I'm very, very loud. But like to show up randomly at like a big Nerf event where there's like people who've known each other for a long time, I'm just kind of like, well, I'll just get my taco from the taco truck and go maybe sit in my car.
For sure. I don't think I've been to any really large events because I was trying to go to a few, and then COVID happened. But I wasn't big enough to be noticed by anybody other than a few small people, which was the weirdest experience that I certainly do not deserve. But I tend like, this is like one of the first live streams I've done, and I generally tend to be pretty calm and quiet and reserved and stuff, and then until I get out on the field, and then I turn into a maniac. So
nice.
Yeah, it would be a good time. We should definitely hit up a couple of these Northeast games for sure.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. I'm gonna drag Matt to something eventually.
I was gonna say I'll vote for the one in April because I'm gonna be busy in June.
Yeah, this guy, he keeps getting married and having babies. Just every time I'm like, come on, dude, there's a Nerf event.
There's plans to be had.
That's why you might notice Matt has this custom Nerf dog and pup shirt. Note, don't sue us, Nerf. Don't say it's not officially licensed. I added that and pup myself.
Right.
But we're not selling them, so we should get by.
Should be fine, yeah.
From a license perspective. The cops are coming.
Check chat real quick.
Yeah, I was going to say. We usually talk to the chat more. I'm really sorry, guys. It's just the whole laptop orientation and like the snafus. But
someone asked, does NWAR cost any money to attend?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to be a polite host. I'm like, why don't you take this one? You were just saying you hadn't been there. No, NWAR is free to. It's free to go to NWAR. So like last year's NWAR, if you are into Nerf, I have a video, a little plug. I have a video on my NWAR experience. And I will definitely say, and a lot of people would know who are probably logging into this chat, NWAR had some weird challenges, I guess, to say the least. Like, it did not all go smoothly, but parts of it were some of the most fun I've ever had. Like, there's nothing like doing a thing with your, like, blasters, and I had, like, my Nightingale, and I'm backing up an alley with some friends, and there's a zombie horde coming, and they're coming from different directions, like, and there's dozens of people chasing you. Like, you can't simulate that in any... It's making me... I'm moved just talking about it. Like, there's nothing like that. So it's really, really cool. And I think there's so many people doing it who are volunteering. So, like, it had its frustrations, but, like, you gotta, I don't know, like, you want them to learn from the event, but, like, I try to be kind about it too. Definitely was a good experience. There was part of me, it's like, maybe you guys could charge $5 and afford more people or volunteers or people to help run it or something, but it's free to go to, and it is definitely interesting. I'm looking forward to the Maryland, like that group of people is like a bunch of different kind of people that I'm sure you've heard of, and maybe on here if I was paying attention to the chat if I could, but like they run stuff all the time, and they're kind of doing their own weekend thing that has an HPZ, has a tournament, has a bunch of stuff, and I'm sure like they'll be implementing all those lessons, and I'm sure they'll have their hiccups too. But
how long has NWAR been running?
You know what? I don't know. A few years. But
you said it's not the only thing they run. Like they're not year-long planning this thing. They're doing other things weekly. Or monthly things,
I mean, I think it does. I mean, I think in theory it's worked on for the year, but I think like a lot of things in life, it's worked on a lot as near to the end as possible before people have to do stuff. So, and having the Foam Pro Tour going on at the same time, I'm sure that complicated it too. Oh, talked about
people are requesting the Nightingale be fired.
Oh yeah, let's go to the old Target Camaroo there. Perfect. So yeah, no, it was fun. I mean, I wouldn't mind going in again. Although if I go to 2 events, I get a person with like 5 children between him and his partner can only go to so many solo Nerf vacations.
Sure.
So anyway, what else have we got in the chat there?
We had a couple people help me in.
I had a question earlier. I don't mind. If you don't mind if I hijack.
Please, you know what? Please do, because usually we try to be a lot more on the chat, but it's hard with our setup tonight.
It's all right. I'm looking at the stream here, or sorry, the comment section, and earlier, Beans Dude asked me what is my all-time favorite mod, and I wanted to do that question because I that could be like somebody else's or mine, but I'm going to assume that it's mine, and followers of my channel since the beginning may know how I did this to my hand, that little cut right down there on my thumb.
Right.
And if you don't know that story, it goes to my all-time favorite mod on the wall behind me, which I'm going to grab. I just have to give it to my Chaos here with chainsaw attachment.
Oh.
Let's get that on there. That's a bit tenuous of a connection there, but
let's get
my
gears.
My Chaos here with the mag, but it also hooks up to the Proton Pack, which is ridiculous, and the blood theme there, which is a bit kind of it's a bit dark, right? But I was modding this thing, a late night modding session, tons of coffee, getting tired, which is maybe not the best time to mod a blaster, but I was trying to fit a new micro switch inside of this grip right here, just a little higher amperage switch, and I did not own a Dremel yet.
No.
you know where this is going,
Yep.
and it's not good. So I was trying to put the new micro switch in this guy, and just trying to shave a little bit of plastic off at a time with a little hobby knife. And this is why you cut away from yourself, boys and girls.
Mm-hmm.
That thing got stuck in here, and I was trying to pull it out with my right hand while holding this with my thumb. It just went right when through. It never hurt, but
The clean ones never do.
it didn't hurt at all. But so yeah, I'm the guy that had to go to the hospital at like 11:45 p.m. And that's the fun part of the story, is that I had to wake my wife up
Right.
like at 11:45.
I did.
Just wearing, I think, just like a white. Of course, it was like a white undershirt. And that might have been about it, honestly, if we're going to go PG-13 here. I mean, that's a little bit extra descriptive. But, so I got that, and there's like, it spurted blood on me, this white shirt. I rush into the bedroom. I think she's like reading a book or something. And I'm like, we got to go to the hospital right now. Oh, that was awful. But now I've got a fun blaster to tell the story with.
It's a good paint scheme though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so obviously that's what that's inspired by. But who doesn't love
An origin story.
proton packed anything?
Right.
Frankly,
Yep.
that's a sweet out of darts product. If I'm gonna push anything, but this is one of my all-time favorite mods. So I kind of almost always go with this one.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, the chaos is super fun. It's funny, just the story around like waking up your wife at night with like being scantily clad. I also have a story like that. I was doing a video. I thought it would be funny. I had the Matrix Fire, the modded Matrix Fire, and I set up like a tree behind me, and I had this fake plastic chest. So I had my shirt off and a fake plastic muscle chest over me, and a wig. And a smoke machine, because I wanted to be like Rambo, like in the jungle, and I was firing the Matrix Fire. And the smoke machine set off our fire alarm.
Oh no.
Which I didn't think was possible. So my partner, she runs down, it's like 2 a.m, she runs downstairs, the basement's full of smoke, I'm not wearing a shirt.
There's a strange muscle man in the basement.
I'm running around, like, I'm just waving a wig at like where I think the sensor is for the fire alarm.
Right.
And yeah, she sees the humor in it now, but
At the time, not so much.
yeah, all the kids were home too. It was like, yeah, I just woke the entire household up with me just shirtless. I'm sure she's like, "Are you running a Nerf OnlyFans down there? What is happening?" So, should I run it?
I mean, you gotta pay for the collection
There's
somehow.
something for everybody out there, I think.
There is something for everyone.
Just to wrap up the End War, Endless Entertainment asked if you show up with unmodded blasters, will you be absolutely destroyed, or will you be like, all right?
No, that's kind of the coolest thing. One of the coolest things I think about HVZ. Like HVZ is usually has an FPS limit. These days, it's usually around 130, and I would even go so far as to say like it's a little bit jerkish to like tinker your blaster all the way up to 130. Like End War stuff, like HVZ stuff, is almost all close quarter. So like that's kind of the fun of it. Like that's when people take like Rev Reapers and like actually take the Zombie Strike stuff stock. Like one of the coolest things I've seen at an HVZ was a guy, I forget his name. I actually stopped and got a picture with him. I wish I had a producer. I'd get that clip pulled. He had a Thunderbow, and he took out like 5 people in a row with a Thunderbow like stock. And it's just like you can go to Walmart or Target. Actually, if you go to Walmart or Target, you have to be careful not to buy Dart Zone stuff because stock it's actually higher. Too high for End War. So and that's like you embrace the jankiness. Not that you can like. Or, like, it's obviously people take tinkered and modded stuff, but you have to, like, make sure you have your power levels. Like, I've used my Mark III, but I undervolted it. So because they do checks. They do FPS checks and everything. Mm-hmm. But you want to, like, these are, like, people you're friends and hanging out with that are rushing towards you, pretending to be a zombie. Exactly. You don't need to punch them in the face repeatedly as they're trying to get you. So, yeah. So you want to be kind to them for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's it for chat for now.
Caught up in I want to mention it's hard not to do show and tell. But while we're talking about out of darts, I want to talk about this modded Zeus. Mostly, I wouldn't say it's my emotionally. It is in my top 5. I have categories of my favorites because this is one of the first blasters. Like I saw
the genesis of your
like I saw Luke's channel and I was like, how amazing would it be to even be able to mod something like this? Like I couldn't even imagine installing the kit, like let alone just. And I was just like, this is the coolest looking thing, and I think I got one just before they like sold out because the Zeus is an old blaster, and I know you have one because I've seen yours and I've seen some firing footage of
that's right there
of you doing it. And I think the funny thing about this one is, and I'm sure this was talked about back in the day, I would argue that this is like this thing fires rival at high speed straighter than anything else I have. Like it just, I think something about the extra push of the fan or just the way it feeds. Like, well, I'm gonna switch to the target cam actually, so brace yourself for some noise, friends. There we go. Bring the old target cam. Switch on this, and pure can. Thank you, Matt. This sound effects deck it's gonna be so indulgent. But like this thing, I thought it was cool, just the look of it. Like I always I want to have that on my blaster wall when I was just a wee man dreaming of Nerf. Yeah. But it's so much better than I expected.
Right.
I guess.
And I can't even imagine the amount of engineering it would require to do some of that stuff, like the proton pack, that thing. The engineering in it must be crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Oh, he's there.
I'm gonna have to put all this crap back up.
No, just follow Anthony and leave it all on the floor at all times.
It's gonna be a blank wall for too long here. But I think I saw it from Drac first. But this could have been. This is pretty close to my other favorite thing. You mentioned liking clean paint jobs, and I went to Advanced Auto Parts. This guy right here to make the nice little it's like ocean breeze or something you paint a classic car with. But it's dumb fun. This is one of my favorites too. So
that's so good.
Could have pulled it down, show it off a bit, but it's a pretty sweet one too.
I need to. I tried to paint. I painted my Nitron, my Boom Nitron, and I wanted to paint it. And I because it has all this detailing, I didn't want to paint it. I was like, well, I'll just be careful and I'll paint it by hand. And it was the worst decision I ever made in my life. I put 800 coats of and I also bought cheap acrylic. I don't know what's wrong with me. I know better, and I didn't prep it. I didn't do it. So I see that and I'm like, oh, it looks like a factory paint job. That's something to aspire to.
Yeah.
I'll get there. I'll get there. But yeah, no, Outer Darts has definitely been a fun, pretty fun gateway into the hobby too. Especially when you don't know what you're buying. It's well, if I buy it from there, it's the right switch. Or if I buy it from there,
they'll take care of you too.
Yeah.
Well, I've never had a bad experience. That's maybe bias coming from from an influencer, but they've always had pretty good customer service from even before I was making videos. So they're pretty sweet.
100%. I remember the very first project I ever did was actually I bought a Jupiter kit, which is a weird first project to do. I don't know why I did that. I ended up having to kind of melt the shell a little bit to fit it over my blobby cold solders, but it worked. And after I was doing it, I ended up asking a couple other questions. I was like, if I want to bypass this switch on my Perseus, is this how I do it? Right. And they were nice enough to be like, yep, that's what you do. So I definitely I always very sincerely have kind things to say about them, because if you are buying something, the chances are they will not abandon you for it. And they've sent me, I've had things burn out too. Yeah, my stepson, I bought him a Jupiter kit because I thought it would be fun for us to build it together, and we did build it together. And he took it to a party, and another kid it got stuck, and they just kept revving until smoke came out. And I told them, and I was like, I'm not looking for a free thing. I'm just I just want to order I want to order it like pre-installed, like it was. Like I just want to make sure I'm ordering the right thing.
Mhm.
And they sent me like a new one for free. Like they didn't have to do that. It was super nice and super appreciated. And that was like before even doing YouTube stuff. They were getting no publicity back in those days from me. That's for sure.
Right. Before you fire that, Endless Entertainment with another good question. Do you have a stream schedule?
So what I want to do for streaming, I'm just trying to be realistic, which is hard for me. I think I'd like to try to stream like the end of every month.
Mhm.
I think that's realistic. I'd like to do 12 streams, because at one point we were trying to do once every 2 weeks. That's too much.
Yeah.
I have a split schedule with my daughter and stepkids, and so that means there's only 2 weekends, and then I'd also like to do stuff with my partner as well. It's just but once a month, treat myself to sitting here in the basement and hanging out with the other people who have giant toy collections around the world. That's my jam. So I think it'll probably be the last Friday of every month, maybe. But I might post like a little schedule or something, because I know if you schedule streams, it's better for everyone. It's better for the people doing them, and it's better for people who might want to see them. But yeah. So that was a really long answer. You were worried about being brief. You see now that you had no worries about that. There's no brevity here at all.
Yeah, I'm here till you shut the lights off or end the call. That was a good time.
Well, it's great.
Which is good, because it's like the first stream that I've done since I got super angry at one of the Fortnite blasters that was just kind of a piece of garbage. So I had to stream about it and vent for some reason. But,
let's get into it. Which one? Was it the Zesty? That would make sense.
Yeah. That was the one. That was exactly
Past trauma unlocked.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was kind of a giant piece of junk, but it was fun. And yikes, as a person that tends to not have fun that much and overly serious, I kind of like this. This is a lot of fun.
The stream was fun, not the Zesty. Gotcha. I was confused for a second. I was like, the Zesty was fun.
Oh no, yeah. The stream is fun. The Zesty.
Yeah, I did a mod guide for the Zesty that basically was don't mod it. Just don't do it. Mm-hmm. You have to be an octopus to get it back together. And I did a whole bunch of work, and I got an extra 8 FPS, I think. And it's just. Yeah, I'd like to do one of these are the times where I'm like, I wish I had a better memory, because I like to give people credit if I'm talking about it. But if anyone watching Google's Zesty Flywheeler, there's only a couple people who've done them, and that would be cool. That would be a cool project. But I kind of swore to never open a Zesty again for any reason. So I don't know. Otherwise, I actually kind of like all the Fortnite blasters, in a general sense.
Right.
But I kind of have a fondness for it. I play it
with the kids.
You and I actually play a lot with the boys, and it's with the kids. No, I'm not just being we play with the boys. I'm not trying to be cooler than I am, because I'm not very cool. But I don't know. Crickets. Those sound effects are paying dividends. But it's funny, just talking about franchise blasters. Do you have franchise blasters that you what would be your kind of the franchise based blasters that you're those are cool, and what would be the ones where you're I don't care about them at all, or maybe you don't care about any of them? What, in terms of manufacturers, just or interest, that sub-series? Yeah, or? Just general interest. If you I know for me, for example, for me, I feel the hardest thing for me to be interested in at all is Nerf Roblox stuff, because I've never played Roblox. I have no emotional, I have zero connection to Roblox at all. And that's one of the reasons. So this is a roundabout way of answering your question, I've done all night long. But a few days ago, Coop posted his "My soul is dying, I'm not going to review garbage blasters anymore" post. Right. And I immediately felt this is nice. So I kind of bandwagoned a little bit on my own channel. I said, you know what? I respect the hell out of that, because I got a package of Elite Junior stuff, and at no point am I saying that I don't realize I'm
have privilege here because I got some free stuff to review, and that's super thankful for that. But my God, sometimes trying to make yourself film a video on some of these things that get sent your way, and your heart is just not in it. So I kind of felt the same way. So the Roblox stuff is just like that. I remember I was trying to film something on. The only one I remember, honestly, is the Bees Blaster.
Yeah.
And that was fun because it was lever action, and I'm always down for lever action. But I was trying to say something. I think I said the name of the blaster wrong like 8 times in the video, and all the kids that know Roblox are talking about it. And I'm just like, dudes, I'm so sorry. I have no emotional stake in that sub-series. So things that I do like, though, from especially from Hasbro, is things that have gone by the wayside. I think I really enjoyed Zombie Strike stuff, all of it, really. Probably my favorite blaster is behind me on the wall is the Slimfire. It is a relic. That clutch is kind of a piece of junk if you want to mod it. Very low FPS, but it's a lot of fun. I think that line really, exemplified what Nerf is to me personally. It's a lot of fun. Gimmicky blasters are always really cool, and it's kind of sad to see the production on that one stop. Probably the same thing with Modulus. It's a different, maybe less focused on, fun running around with, your friends or whatever, but that one, to me, was really cool with all the attachments and stuff, and now it's Fortnite, it's Roblox, it's Minecraft, and largely those aren't super interesting to me. I'm not the kind of person that says, Nexus Pro or death. That's I love Dart Zone and I love the performance stuff that they're coming out with, but maybe I don't need that for every war or HVZ. It has its place and it's super cool, but I always kind of circle back to the more gimmicky stuff at the end of the day.
Right.
No, for sure. Like, it's funny. Matt and I were talking about that earlier. Like, I have a ton of Dart Zone stuff. I really like Dart Zone, and like I've been sent some stuff, and like I've said a lot of good things about it. But I didn't bring any Dart Zone stuff to like put on the table to talk about tonight because it's like everyone has it, and it's generally really good and solid, and generally like the design of I still think Nerf is doing some really cool design. Like I'd love for them to take some of that industrial design that they're putting into Ultra and put it into like regular. And I'm not a big I can play with Ultra, but like I wish some of that design would go into. I miss the days. Now I'm not even being coherent, but I miss it. Like it's almost like Lego. Lego has like become a thing where all Lego is all franchise based and building models as opposed to like creator Lego,
like playing with it and actually using it.
Yeah, and I feel
putting it on a shelf.
I feel like when toys or whatever, when they go, everything's a licensed property, they lose a little something. Like, I really like Zombie Strike. That's not attached to that's its own thing. Like, Alien Menace. Like, I thought that stuff was kind of cool. There's only a little bit of it. Like the Rebel line and stuff. Like, Vortex. Like, I don't need everything to be attached to a movie or a cartoon.
Right.
I guess.
Yep.
I get that it sells, but it takes away a little bit, I think, too. Yeah.
They don't have to be nearly as creative to just...
Get off my lawn, kids, with your Roblox and your Minecrafting. You don't know what it was like in my day. We popped a Nerf ball out of a tube and we liked it. Yeah.
But speaking of quirky and janky, what do you got on your arm now?
Oh, you know what? I'm always down for well, when we were talking about like being amazed at like the engineering that goes into things, like
first-hand knowledge right there.
Well, and not quite first-hand because like all the actual like talent engineering has been my friend Marcus at Foam Blasted. This started out as like, do I have it here? Do I have the before?
The Mark 1.
The Mark 1. I think I do somewhere. Yeah, I do. Right here. So like. One night I thought it would be fun to like take this Iron Man thing and put some flywheels on it and put a little flywheel pusher and make a little Mega XL thingy. And then I get talking with my friend Marcus, and this is like we're still like prototyping and stuff, but I guess like I'm looping it back to like being amazed at the out of dart stuff and like how quickly they
Push stuff out.
you know, like I mean they're when you're trying to like, I'm amazed at all the people in the hobby who actually design and produce and finish their blasters. Like it takes so long. It's so much work. And when you print stuff and fine tuning, like I have kind of a shameful, like it's an environmental hazard of like PLA parts just from different prototypes for this thing.
Right.
But I am, because when we talk about things, I just wanted to fire it at the target tent, really. So I'm going to turn, speaking of switches, got a little light up switch on there. And, well, the prototype. Uh-oh. What's going on? Something's up. Hold on. Oh, there we go.
Take two.
There we go. New version coming soon that works better.
Time.
Well, the big reason that didn't work is because this trigger mechanism was designed by me in Tinkercad.
Gotcha.
So just to give Marcus a little bit of a head start.
Right.
So he's actually has a good one that will be better and more dependable than mine. But like, the other reason I bring that is because when we're talking about lines and types of blasters, I do love Mega XL because like that's the answer to. I'm sure you get this one a lot, Brad. Like the answer to the eternal question, why not just airsoft, bro?
Right.
I
just saw his soul leave his body.
And I mean, there's lots of answers to that question. My answer to that, and then I want to hear your answer. Like my answer to that is one. Well, I'm not going to say multiple answers, and then Brad's like, "You said them all." I'll say one of the main ones is probably the inclusive factor of it. Like I can't play airsoft with my kids in the
basement
and there's just so many people that don't. I could. Like my daughter did not like getting hit by 3 darts in the face. She had iPro on. But she probably wishes she had a full, and normally I would get her to wear a full mask. But like not everyone is down for getting hit in the face with airsoft, and that's okay. I don't know that those days might be behind me too. Yeah. What would one of your answers to the I would like to hear an answer from each of us on the why not airsoft bro dilemma. What would your main one be, Red?
I mean, it's really, you mentioned you can play it anywhere for Nerf. That's fantastic. And just the inclusive nature of the community for me. Now, I haven't spent a ton of time airsofting, especially like recently, younger years, a few decades ago. We definitely messed around with those a lot more. Still not necessarily like in a quasi-professional kind of way or anything like that, but around the neighborhood. And it always turns into, I don't want to say the word try hard, but my God, you go to some of these events and some of these people are just really overly competitive and in your face. And that's not really what I'm about. It is about fun. It goes along with my love of, gimmicky Nerf blasters and those kind of more fun lines. I appreciate the high performance, absolutely. But it's just nice to be for a seemingly more inclusive and frankly diverse community. Right. And that I really appreciate. It's not just a monoculture of, bros.
Right. Right. Say the 3 bros on this call right now. We're working on our maritime foam inclusivity.
Right.
3 middle-class white dudes.
Right.
If you can't trust us, who can you trust?
I was also going to bring up the fact that it doesn't seem as inclusive or as broad of a community. Like with Nerf, you can get into those higher performance games, or you can have fun with Vortex and do all kinds of different games. Like we played A Quiet Place the other weekend with a bunch of Vortex gun, and that was fun. And I can only assume, having not done very much research, that airsoft is also way more cost prohibitive than being into Nerf.
Well, I mean, I would
at a similar scale.
Maybe not to the at a similar scale. Yeah, sure. Yeah. yeah, I mean, you raise a good point with like the vortex and stuff too. Like that's my other. You're not surprised I am. I'm gonna give 2. I asked
Sure.
but like
It's
but-
your channel. You can talk as much as you want.
But the whole like caliber thing, like
Sure.
different types of ammo, like that's one of my favorite. That is actually one of my other big favorite things. Is like I love objectives that need these big goofy darts, or like I'm doing games where maybe vortex or something like that does something weird or is a stun or like I don't know. Like I love the different caliber ammo stuff. Like I just think that's super. I just think that's super fun.
The freedom to make up those rules for different calibers, whereas airsoft is just airsoft.
Yeah, and like I mean, and kids, there's someone on the stream who's like, all I do is airsoft, and I love it. It's all that brings me joy. I don't dislike airsoft. Like if you said to me, like, if you said, do you want to go play airsoft this weekend? I'd be like,
Sure,
yeah.
yeah. I'll try anything.
First of all, I'd be like, where do we even go to do that? But like, because it's just harder to find a spot. But like, I'm certainly not against it. But just, I could never see being as into airsoft as I am Nerf, just from even a sheer convenience factor if I wanted to be.
Right.
So, and then you get the people who are like, just get a real gun. I'm like, yeah, because I'm gonna fire those at you guys across my yard. Like, what? That's a weird comparison there. That's a weird jump.
Right.
Like airsoft is a comparison I at least get. Comparing to a real firearm is bizarre. And I'm not no hot topics on the thing. I'm not gonna get into like I have no. Anyway. I just don't. I would honestly rather again, if you just like airsoft, if you said here's a big crazy machine gun, do you want to fire it at a range? I'd be like, yeah, I want to fire it at a range. I sure do. If you said like here's something you can blow up another thing with, like an inanimate thing, I'd be like, yeah, let's do it.
I don't want to keep it in my house.
I don't want to keep it in my house, and I would say like I like the day-to-day playing. I like the day-to-day tinkering and all that stuff too. So I don't know.
Taking a quick look at chat.
See if there's anyone left after all of our dissing airsoft.
Brad, I'm not sure if you saw Brell's question. He had to leave for a second, but he wants to know how long did it take you to build that chaos?
If you there's 2 answers to that question. How long should it have taken had I not injured myself?
Right.
Which probably would have been an evening, truthfully, because you have the switch and you have the motor for the conveyor belt, which is not terribly complicated. It's still an easier mod than, like, say, the Rapid Strike is. So that one, I could have done it in an evening if I had all the parts gathered and it planned out and everything, and then went to work, which is not how I work, by the way. I just sort of start, cutting and going crazy, and then I figure it out along the way, because that's just sort of my thing. I'll probably put on like Pink Floyd on the turntable in the corner, and just sort of take my time. It's a good time. But how long it actually took me, because I cut my finger and had to go to the hospital. This hand was in like a cast because of how gruesome that thumb was for a month. So it took me about one night plus a month of recovery time to mod that chaos.
That's intense. It's funny around the sometimes I'll get asked about, because if I've modded something, people will say, is there a guide or is there a video? And there is a real thing of, it's not fun to film yourself doing everything. Like there are projects and things to build where I'm like, I just want to build it for fun. Yeah. Like maybe I'll go after and show the internals or something, but it is, and that's the thing. If you're filming, like you can't play music, you can't. True. You're there to do a job, and it is a smart thing to probably do a job that you've done more than once to make it easier to edit. That's not my thing, but
that's the real trick, because especially if you're on a budget, and I still am. AdSense revenues are crap. Go YouTube. But anyway, they when I go to film, like I'll do a mod for the first time. I'll get a new blaster, and I'm like, I should film a mod guide. And then I realized that I haven't opened it up before, and this is the first time I'm looking at it. and I want to do it and get comfortable with the mod before I film a guide, and then I'm like, I might have to go out and buy more parts, buy the blaster again, buy more motors.
Right.
And usually, I guess I spend more time modding blasters I find interesting, which tend to cost a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So if it just ends up being another like semi-auto flywheeler, I often just don't film the mod guide.
Yeah.
But people still always ask for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it just comes from like that bit of, I don't know. What you don't know is kind of is scarier too. Like I refer people a lot to, just go look at some different Strife mod guides. Like really look at the circuit of it. It's really you're just using a switch to complete make a wire complete for like a Strife rewire or mod is not that bad. Buy yourself a kit from Out of Darts. It's a little cheaper. So we should have to work on sponsorship. So much product placement. We should at least have a little badge up in the corner. We'll work on it. We'll get our people on it. We'll get the lawyers in.
The chat's buzzing about gel. We didn't even mention gel.
Oh God! You know what? It's good.
Couldn't escape it.
No, it was coming.
No way.
I actually did want to bring up gel with you because I feel like part of your, I'm gonna guess that at least part of your, what Coop had said around his. I wish the production staff had that GIF on staff that I could just have it on the deck. But you can look up if you watch this. You probably saw Coop's post on it. But I'm sure like the gel thing's part of that too. Like I feel like all of us in the past summer reviewed so much gel. And some of it was cool, like the on-lock blasters. I thought, like from aesthetically, super cool. The
sci-fi stuff.
Yeah. Like awesome. Like I have some critique. Like I wish it was select fire, but like cool blaster.
There's this gel corner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like I see a couple familiar ones over there. Like the Dart Zone one is good for sure. Mm-hmm. That B4 A1 or A1, the B1 one. Yeah.
But that's the thing with gel. Like, there's a lot of different things here. That's one of my favorite things about the blaster wall. Kind of a side story is that it's long enough to do. Move the tripod a few feet to the left for Nerf videos, and then do some for gel videos, right? Mm-hmm. But like you got stuff that is like scary, and I would never take in public to a park on that wall.
Yeah.
You've got like an AK and an M4 and a UMP45 and stuff that, I didn't even want to necessarily like have on the background just in case like a YouTube bot gets a little uptight, Mm-hmm. But having said that, I have a lot of fun with it.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the stuff that most of these companies want to push on reviewers is the stuff on Amazon, those cheaper entry-level gel ball blasters that are underpowered and just kind of maybe fun for, younger kids, teenagers, stuff like that. And there's a lot of different concerns with them. You got like the real steel thing. You got the fact that, in other countries they're being banned for, likeness to real steel firearms. And, maybe because of that, they're trying to push sales, on this side of the world where they're still not banned. So a lot of those things are flooding the American market right now. But there are some very high quality ones that I do enjoy quite a bit, right? So it's kind of a mixed bag. I don't mind the fact that I have to buy ammo again because you can buy 10,000 rounds for like $10, and that will last forever. The soaking the gel balls for me, a lot of people don't like that you can't pick them up and play right away. That is definitely annoying, especially if I had a good idea for a video or something. You can't just, soak them and microwave them and you're good to go in like 5 minutes. But I tend to just dump them in overnight and take them to a war the next morning, that sort of thing. So that's never been too big of a hurdle for me, but I can certainly see that. And then there's truthfully no avoiding talking about potential environmental impacts on some of these things. And that one is a hard one to get around because, for me, I'll use them we don't do too many wars with them. We do have fun with them, but all of the companies, whether it's, a made in China brand, well, they're all made in China, but whether it's like, some Chinese brand, if you're buying it from like Zenduo, if you're buying it from Dart Zone, if you're buying it from Hasbro, they all say that they're environmentally safe and biodegradable. But, uranium biodegrades too, but how long does that take is the real question. So can you trust the big companies? Probably not. So it's kind of a mixed bag. You do have to kind of contend with that if you are, a player of those. So if you play indoors, sure, you can clean up. If it's in an arena, that's all a bit safer because you can like wipe down and sweep and stuff. But outside, those are going to stay in your yard for a while, probably.
Yeah, for sure. I feel pretty similar about gel. So I mean, I'll be like fully honest. I get a bunch of like the cheaper ones like at the start of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
There's like some of the first stuff like it's like, oh, someone has sent me things and wants my opinion.
Right.
And I'll be like, they definitely, and I would have said like these are not super high power. Like I would have done chronograph, but for me, for playing with the kids, they were actually pretty good because that lower FPS was good with them. Like my kids didn't want to play with Gel Blaster brand stuff because they hit too hard at the time anyway. Like just that extra 30, 40 FPS, they were just like not as into it. So like the cheaper ones were actually like, I could be pretty positive about them for a while, but then you get to a point where you're like, these are all the same and the quality control is
not great,
all over the all over the place. Like I had a bunch of really good luck and I'm like, oh, these are pretty good, and I used them quite a bit too. And then you start getting some batches of like, well, these were a bad batch from the factory, and I kind of got to a point where I'm like, no more of these unless they're like really unique, compelling or unique. Like the on-lock stuff I'm a huge fan of. It just, they look cool. I wish I'd had select fire, because my other problem with gel is that it's not the most fun to have unlimited ammo and full auto. Like it's just everyone laying,
just blind firing,
covering fire. Like we did a video, and it was like a sponsored video too, and with a bunch of they were the cheaper gel blasters. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of fun in my backyard. It's pretty close quarters. It's pretty small. They work fine for in there, but like. It's hard to have. We had fun, but it's hard to have dynamic play.
We had to self-impose rules,
right?
Fire rate rules.
Yeah, like actually, at one point, Matt and I, we were against like two of the younger kids. We just said, "Well, we'll only do single trigger. We'll only do like semi-auto, just to make it a bit more interesting." Like that's kind of the problem. That's why I do like to see semi as an option, or 3-round burst as an option.
What's that latest Starfire rifle one that you got that has
the XL?
Right, it has adjustable speed and the select fire, right?
Yeah. That one's pretty. That would be on my wall of mention. Would be that XL blaster, the on-lock, and then the Dart Zone one are kind of the best ones I've touched. Mm-hmm. I haven't touched a whole lot outside of those, but. I don't know. Even with Nerf, like we were talking about, like Endwar, like obviously I love the Perseus and I love a Proton Pack. I have had moments at like HVZ. I've only been to 2. I'm talking like an old wise sage of it all. I've been to two, and I got murdered almost immediately at the first one. I think I was the first one out. I drove so far and immediately was dead. But I had a good attitude about it. It was fun to be a zombie. But like there was part of me that day that I was like, maybe we should limit how many mags people can take. Like people literally go with like they have like 30 mags or like and I'm sure like if you're on the chat, I'm so sorry, but like I don't know, like like so many rounds that are just like the zombies don't stand it. It depends on the arena. Like Endwar had a lot of nooks and crannies and was more city like at Rochester, the university there. Grove City was open fields, so like. If the humans all banded together, it was...
There's no chance at all.
No chance. Like, for them to run out of ammo, like, they could pick up their ammo and refill their blasters. Like, there's just so much ammo. So, yeah, I don't know. I like limits. Like, I like ammo limits. I don't mind doing a match with just, like, single shot. That's why I like playing with the trilogy or the sledge fire. Like, give everyone a shotgun or a single shot thing and, like, and my daughter would be like, if I'm out, can I just pause? I'm like, no, that's part of the game. You gotta hide. You gotta
I'm
run.
reloading, guys. Hang on.
Let's
Right. Time out. I'm reloading.
Yeah.
Speaking
Hey,
of
get
single,
there,
speaking
Matt.
of single shot.
Oh.
What was it called again?
The Hypnos.
Hypnos.
So sorry. It definitely felt like, I was back in the 80s with the game Genie on the NES.
Yes.
It's an unlimited ammo cheat code.
Right.
When I was at Penn State, with even just that Hurricane, because I have 100 rounds of ammo.
Right.
And there's 3 kids running at me with this thing. And I'm just like, I feel kind of bad. And then I think at some point, the universe caught up with me and decided that, I can't keep doing that because one of the 3D printed pieces at the end of the tubes popped off.
Oh, no.
And that fan blew all of the ammo on the sidewalk. And it was down for the rest of the afternoon. And that was actually pretty funny. I'm sure someone has a video of that happening somewhere, and that'd be really funny to watch.
The universe wanted to level that out.
Yep.
Speaking of single fire, this is probably the first blaster that I liked. When we started to play Nerf,
Oh, okay. Early on. That sounded really harsh. I was like, do you hate everything we're doing here, man?
No. Because when you first got in, you were heavy into Rival early on. You were playing Rival a lot, and this is what I always gravitated towards.
That's a cool blaster. I mean, it has some little jam issues here and there, but I like it a lot. Actually, outside of Toronto at this Nerf Challenge place, they have this really cool arena, with all this soup, the bunkers and everything look like shipping containers. It looks so cool, and they give everyone. That's what they give everybody. They give everybody a Hypnos, and they sprinkle a few mags around. Mm-hmm. But that's a fun blaster. The stock's very sturdy. Looks kind of cool. Pump action's always nice. Yeah. Rival really sucked me in. I almost needed that medium performance to get me so intrigued, and now I don't even care that much about performance. But Rival definitely, I was like, ooh, this is a toy for me. This is fun.
Get me on that.
Oh, I'll put you on the target cam. That's right. The old target cam. Nothing to see there. Yeah, that is a fun. I mean, I love it all. It's hard to pick favorites. I love all the things. I feel like my Rival collection doesn't get as much love as it once did, but it's got a lot of competition. I'm glad to see new Rival stuff coming out. There's the Pathfinder and the Fate, and then there's a new pump action shotgun one. I don't have it yet. Okay. That one's actually inline clipped and brass for short darts.
I see that. Okay.
But it's still a lot of fun. Yeah, Rival's pretty good. Oh, you have one of the new ones, the Forerunner.
I love the new one. I don't have the break action one. That one I was a bit more excited for. I do not remember what it's called.
The Pilot.
Oh, Pilot, yeah. That one I'm really excited to see the mods for. A little break action, brass barrel, stuff like that. That should be pretty sweet. But just for pure fun factor, the Forerunner is it's a lot of fun. You mentioned Rival, getting sucked in by Rival, and this one is nice because it's just right at that upper mid-tier level. Yeah. It's not 70 FPS Nerf Elite. It's not Dart Zone, leave a welt on you if you get shot, just wearing a t-shirt. It's a lot of fun, and I like it quite a bit more than the Takedown was. It's pretty sweet. It's a pretty solid blaster.
Yeah, that's nice. Cool. Yeah, 100 FPS.
For it.
What's that, sorry? I missed that. What was that last thing you said? I just missed it.
Oh, and I said now I don't have to film a review for it. I'm just going to clip that footage right there.
Sure. Yeah.
Perfect.
I will sign the release for my likeness.
That's right. It's a short, and it's done.
Yeah. Express written consent of a maritime phone.
Love it. Well, I see. We usually keep to an hour or so. We were having so much fun. We're 10 minutes past that. Are there any last questions in the chat we should throw in before we say goodnight?
I don't see anything.
Well, we had so much fun. Maybe we will do it again sometime. Really appreciate your time. This has been really cool to actually talk in person. There have been some comments back and forth over the last couple years, and look at us having human interaction. What a time! showing off our toys to each other like it's big show and tell. It's like we had a play date. Basically, live streaming with someone is scheduling a play date.
Pretty much.
As an adult.
Post-pandemic, pretty much.
Yep, I agree with that. And it has been too long for people who have randomly commented back and forth at each other. And we should absolutely do this again if you'll have me back.
Absolutely. No, for sure.
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun. Thank you very much. This is me out. This is signing off from Old Nerf Dog. And, of course, our guest, American Foam. So, stay tuned. The end of next month, we'll do another stream. Maybe sometime we'll do we'll do some random for funsies streams in there somewhere along the way. Oh, I didn't even talk about Nerf Nitro. I think I'm going to do, one of the streams is going to be a standalone Nerf Nitro stream. Matt and I are going to dress up like we're in the Fast and the Furious. We're going to drink, to stick to the YouTube guidelines, I will get some alcohol-free Corona.
Yeah.
So we can put those on some ice. We can fire Nerf Nitro.
And talk about family.
We can be all about that life. We're going to trade cars for slips. I recently had a friend ship me dozens of cars that were discounted at an Ollie's. And I have that crazy Nerf Nitro Blaster that takes a mag, which I thought, this holds 12 cars. 12 cars. What are they doing? I love it. When we talk about ridiculous stuff, I want to do a whole car loadout and go to an HPC sometime.
Sure.
And just all cars. Fire them out. They are made of foam.
Yeah.
They have plastic wheels, but I'll risk it. Or no, are they? Yeah,
they're plastic, yeah.
I'll risk it.
Sure.
Now you just got to 3D print a bunch of car magazines and you'll be ready to go.
Yeah. Oh, these are good ideas. All right, we'll save them for the next stream.
Right.
All right, thanks very much. I'm going to fumble around and hit that end stream button that I should have added to my stream deck on my Sideways laptop. Thanks everyone for joining, and we will talk. We'll all talk to each other soon in some comments, I'm sure.
See ya.
Night, everyone.